This meeting is being recorded.
Hello, good morning, ladies. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good afternoon.
All okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
How are you, Isha? How are you, Nadia?
I'm good.
I'm good. Good to see you girls. So, before we start with our week 2, so I just want to understand, have you been practicing your baselines? Do you remember your baselines, Manjira?
Yes.
So very quickly, what's your baselines?
Yes. It's love, independence, assertiveness, being the best, uniqueness, and growth.
Okay, and have you been using your baselines in your daily actions, daily activities?
Yes.
Great. Nadia? Baselines?
Yes, mine are care, freedom, growth, abundance, acceptance, and credibility. And yes, I have also been using my baseline.
Brilliant. And you guys are aware of your states. You are whenever you're taking action or anything or any mood swings, you know that which state you're operating and you try to bring that state up, right?
Yes.
Brilliant. So very quick recap of week 1. So what we learned was who we are, right? We did the personality assessment, we did the speech activity, we did the baselines, we did baselines, expression, non-expression, and the change activity. Any confusion till there?
No.
Great. So now we will be talking about a thing called integrated power coding. Okay. So this integrated power coding, what it is that so we are being coded with various, so that incidents happens in our life. Okay. And because of which we form beliefs. Okay. The way we see those, we form our beliefs. Okay. So this is what we call as coding, right? So in this part, we will understand how we've been coded and how we can remove these. Okay. So you might have observed that whenever you're trying to take an action, there is some talk going on in your mind, which is stopping you from taking that action, right? So I'll further explain that what these talks are basically, right? So what we really what this integrated power coding, or I will use a short form, the IPC. Okay, what is IPC is? So it's a process which will help us to understand that how we've been coded and how we are removing all those codings from our mind, right? So over time, what happens is repeated beliefs and all. You tell your mind something, and it starts believing it is true. And then what mind does, it's trying to find evidences to validate those beliefs, right? So say, for example, if I say that, say for example, if I constantly go in my front of my mirror and say that I'm not good looking and I don't feel I'm not fit, or I'm ugly, I'm not beautiful. So if I say this every day to myself, what my mind will do is it start believing this. And if anybody says anything, maybe not in the same context, my mind will say pick up that evidence and validate my belief. It's just a small example. There are bigger examples than this. Okay. And what will happen? Ultimately, I will feel distressed. I will not feel happy. I might even stop looking in the mirror and constantly that I am an ugly looking person. Nobody loves me. Right. So what this is a code which has been now developed in my mind, and I've been feeding it. Okay. So what we will try to do is we will try to identify these codes in our life and how we can remove these codes. This is week 2 activities. Okay. So what these codes do is these codes can either motivate us, these codes can empower us, and also make us feel awful. Okay. I'll also share one very quick example is that I met a person who was trying to quit smoking. Okay. So what happened is that he was constantly saying that I'm trying to quit smoking, but it's very difficult. Whenever I see a cigarette or somebody else smoking, I feel like doing it and all. In his mind, actually, the problem is not quitting the smoking thing. In his mind, he still believes he's a smoker. And that is what is the problem with him. So in another perspective, if you can put, this person could actually also think that I am not a smoker at all. So quitting smoking will not be an issue at all, because in his mind, he would program himself by saying that I am not a smoker. So I don't mind if somebody is even smoking in front of me, it doesn't matter. But since this person in his mind has a code already there that I am a smoker, but I am finding difficult to quit smoking, his actions might not be aligned, he might come back to smoking, or he might not even quit smoking, so these are the power of the codes which run in our mind. Okay. So, and these codes are usually formed when we are young. Okay. Some drastic events or anything which happens when we are kids, these form those beliefs, and we carry them subconsciously, consciously. We carry those beliefs, we carry those codes, right? So now, are you ready to find out how we can change the code? Right. So basically, the codes are two. Fundamentally, there are two types of codes. One is an N code, which is negative code, and one is an E code, which is an empowering code. Okay, so negative, as it sounds like, these are inhibitors. They will stop you from taking action. These will be statements which will make you feel really awful about yourself, or this will complete. If you want to take any decision, they will say no, you cannot even take an action, right? And E codes will be empowering statements that yes, I can do it. I'm not a quitter. I can do this. I'm a challenger. Like Manjara is a challenger. I'm a challenger. I'll do this. So these would be the empowering codes for you. Okay. So our focus would be that we identify these N codes and destroy them and replace them with E codes. Fine. Okay. And very important is that these codes should be aligned with our baselines. Okay. If the codes are not aligned with our baselines, sorry, then whatever you do, no matter how much you do, this will, the actions will not be appropriate. And you will not be able to have the dream life which you actually thought about it. Okay. Excuse me. I'll just grab some water.
So, Isha, how do we come to know what are these codes in our mind?
Yeah, I'm coming to that. I'm coming to that. So, as a child, as I told you before, see, as a child, we have often experiences, events, or things which forms the belief around what we see the world right now, right? So these can be some great events. These can be some very distressing events, And usually an adult has around 5 to 8 of these such defining events. Okay. So now what I want you to do is, I want you to go down the memory lane. Okay. And identify events, those drastic events which have formed some kind of belief on you. Those could be positive, those could be negative. So I want you to pick 2 negative events and 3 positive events. Okay. So what you can do is list down all the events. You can actually create a timeline and then see, because usually what happens is there is one trigger, or there's one event, but you will see a couple of other events actually linking to the first event, So they could be this. So what I want you to do is go down your memory lane, identify 2 negative and 2 positive events. And once you're done, we will come back. Okay. I will like to share, so that for ease of your understanding, I would like to also share one this kind of event which actually formed my belief. Was when I was a kid, something happened in the family where there's a constant feeding in my mind that everyone loves my brother more than me. Okay. And specifically my mother, So there was one event which my mind actually validated this, that see, if everyone in the house got gifts, but you didn't got the gift because you are not important and nobody really loves you. And, it carried on with me for years. That was one single event, but it carried on with me for literally years. And that impacted almost every areas of my life, my relationships, even in my career. When I don't feel appreciated, when I don't feel important, I sulk. I go into a victim mode. I'm a helper, no? So I can go into a victim mode. But that was an encode. That event actually brought this encode in my mind that I am not important for the people who are surrounding me. So these kind of events I'm talking about, right? So let's do this. Great. Yeah.
This meeting is being recorded.
Yes. So I know it wasn't very easy to go down on your memory lane. There are a lot of emotions involved when we are going back and seeing those events, but we have to do it because we have to kill the root cause of what's stopping us. So Nazia, would you like to share your one negative event which actually created some codes or something?
So I remember when I was in in 10th standard, and financially we were in a really bad state. And usually in 10th standard, people take up classes, extra classes, and all to study apart from school. So I had also joined, but after 3 or 4 months, I had to leave because we couldn't afford it. And I spoke to my teacher and I let her know that I will not be able to continue and I will have to leave this. And she said that, but you cannot leave, because if you leave, then how will you be able to study? So I tried to explain to her that this is my situation and I really can't help it and I have no other option. So I remember her not being supportive or even empathetic at that time, and she just said that you can leave if you want to, but I can guarantee you that if you're going to leave my tuition, then you're going to fail. And you will need help. Without help you will not be able to pass a math exam or a science exam. It's not possible. And I just took it upon myself and I went ahead and I completed. I got 90% in math, and I went and shared this with her. And when I went and shared with her my marks, she said that the reason you got this 90% is because I helped you in the beginning. Otherwise, without my help, you would have been nothing. And it just stuck in my mind that I do not want help from anybody if this is what is going to come back. So I just made it a point, and I think even till date, it is very difficult for me to go out and ask for help from anybody, because in my mind I feel that if they help, they are going to like really create an obligation on me, and I don't want that, and I want to do everything on my own. I don't need help from anybody. So that's constantly been going on. In fact, I can give you a recent example of every time I'm a single mom, and every time I have to leave my kids behind and I have to depend on my mom for it, I try to look at different ways of how I can not I how I can ensure that I don't have to send my kids to them, and somehow they get managed on their own. So I try to work around that, and the day that I have to send them to my mom and take her help, and if she just calls and says even once that he was that your son was crying a lot today, I just go into that guilt that why did I take this help? She may not have meant it in a way that she that it has caused me trouble, but I look at it like that because I seeked help, it has kind of created a problem in her life or her day for today. So I
So
do see that.
how has this impacted you, not seeking help?
Of course, it has impacted a lot, because constantly I'm like, there's too much on my plate, because I try to do everything on my own, whether it is work. So I have to take care of things outside on my own. I have a job to cater to. I have to cook. I have to take care of the kids. I have to create a balance. And of course, I will need help, but it's very difficult for me to ask for that help. And the only help that I'm okay with is probably the nanny or the maid, because she gets paid for it. So it's like a give and take there. But anywhere that I need help and I cannot return it in some way immediately, then it kind of bothers me. I'm not able to do it.
So
So
what do you think?
you, could
Yeah.
say that there are a lot of things that I'm not able to do because I'm not able to seek help.
Yes. So what do you think is the end code in this event?
The encode is I cannot ask for help.
You cannot ask for help. See, and how long you've been carrying this?
I was probably 14, 15 when this happened. Still going on. I'm 40 now.
So yeah. So your young age till the time now, and this has impacted you because you're not able to, I could say, delegate work. You don't want anybody's help, and you
Yeah.
want everything to be done by yourself, and you're exhausting yourself. Yeah, help her.
Super
I know.
exhausted
Mhm. Okay. So see how these encodes are actually also stopping. So what Nazia, I could feel is that if she goes and seeks for help, she would be able to take up extra things which she's passionate about. Probably she's not able to take those things because she doesn't want to go and ask for help. Because if people are helping, in her mind is that they would do that. There's some kind of favor they're doing on her, and she doesn't want anybody's favor, right? So this, it is impacting your life, right? So these are the power of the encodes. Okay. So next, what we will be doing is an activity. There is on the portal on your hub, there is an activity where there's a software which will actually help you define, not define, this will help you identify the encodes. I will explain about this activity once we're doing it. Okay, fine. Cool. Any questions, any doubts till now? Okay, so we meet for the next activity.